Noah Davis grips the controls of his scout ship, heart pounding as he spots the critically injured Klingon female trapped in the wreckage before him. The asteroid field looms menacingly, debris from the damaged Klingon vessel scattered among the floating rocks. Despite years of hostility between humans and Klingons, Noah's conscience won't let him leave her to die. He maneuvers his ship closer, engaging the tractor beam to stabilize the Klingon craft. Alarms blare as the system strains against the larger vessel's mass. Noah suits up for a spacewalk, double-checking his oxygen levels and tether. The airlock hisses open, and he pushes off into the void. Propelling himself through the debris field, Noah reaches the shattered hull of the Klingon ship. He spots the unconscious female through a breach, her purple skin pale from decompression. Working quickly, Noah attaches a portable life support unit to her suit and begins cutting away the wreckage, pinning her down. Metal groans as Noah pulls the Klingon free. He cradles her limp form and activates his suit's thrusters, carefully navigating back to his ship. Once inside, Noah places her in the medical stasis pod, fingers flying over the controls to initiate emergency protocols. As the pod seals shut, Noah assesses the damage. Multiple fractures, severe internal bleeding, rapidly dropping oxygen levels. It's beyond his medical expertise. He rushes to the cockpit, plotting a course for the nearest human outpost and pushing his engines dangerously hard. Halfway through the journey, movement catches Noah's eye. The Klingon female stirs, her eyes fluttering open. In her delirium, she mutters something in Klingon. Noah leans closer, activating his universal translator. "You saved me," she whispers, her gaze unfocused. "I am Juno. I die with honor." Noah shakes his head. "You're not dying. I'm taking you to get help." Juno's hand weakly grasps his arm. "No time. Please be inside me. One final act." Noah freezes, recognizing the sacred Klingon death ritual. He gently removes her hand, focusing on the medical readouts. "Save your strength, Juno. We're almost there." The comms crackle to life as they approach the outpost. A stern voice fills the cockpit. "Unidentified vessel, this is Outpost 7. State your purpose." Noah takes a deep breath. "This is Noah Davis. I have a critically injured Klingon female aboard, requesting immediate medical assistance." Silence stretches for several agonizing seconds before the reply comes. "Negative, Davis. Bringing a Klingon into human territory is a direct violation of the ceasefire agreement. Turn back now, or we'll be forced to open fire." Noah's gaze shifts between the comms panel and Juno's failing life signs. The choice before him is clear. Risk interspecies war to save a life, or condemn Juno to certain death. With jaw set in determination, Noah opens a channel to respond. Noah's fingers hovered over the comms panel, his mind racing. He glanced at Juno's vital signs, rapidly deteriorating on the medical readout. With a deep breath, he opened the channel. "Outpost 7, this is Noah Davis. I understand the risks, but I cannot in good conscience let this woman die. I'm proceeding to dock. If you must fire, at least give me time to get her to your medical bay." He cut the transmission before they could respond and pushed his engines to maximum thrust. The outpost loomed larger in his view screen, defense turrets tracking his approach. Noah braced for impact, but no shots came. As he neared the docking bay, a new voice crackled over the comms. "Scout ship, this is Captain Marcus Reeves. Hold position for boarding and inspection." Noah complied, relief washing over him as a sleek patrol vessel pulled alongside. The docking tube extended, and moments later, Captain Reeves stepped into Noah's cockpit, his expression stern. "Explain yourself, Davis," Reeves demanded. Noah led him to the medical pod where Juno lay unconscious. "Sir, I couldn't leave her to die. She needs immediate medical attention." Reeves studied the Klingon female, his brow furrowed. After a tense moment, he nodded. "Fine, we'll treat her. But this stays off the books. Understood?" "Yes, sir. Thank you." They docked at the outpost and a medical team rushed Juno to the infirmary. Noah watched as Dr. Elena Chen, the chief medical officer, began assessing Juno's condition. "Fascinating," Dr. Chen murmured, studying her readings. "Klingon physiology is remarkably resilient, but also presents unique challenges. This won't be easy." As the medical team worked, Noah found himself ushered to a small room where Lieutenant Jack Harper waited, datapad in hand. "Mr. Davis, I need a full account of what happened," Harper said, his tone professional, but not unkind. Noah recounted the rescue in detail, from spotting Juno's ship to their perilous journey to the outpost. Harper listened intently, occasionally jotting notes. "Your actions were brave, Davis, but also incredibly risky," Harper said when Noah finished. "Until we sort this out, you'll be confined to quarters. It's for your own protection as much as ours." Days passed in a blur of monotony and anxiety. Noah paced his small room, thoughts constantly returning to Juno. Was she alive? Would she recover? On the fourth day, Dr. Chen visited him. "She's stable," she reported. "It was touch and go for a while, but Klingons are tough. She's regained consciousness and asked about you." Noah's heart raced. "Can I see her?" Dr. Chen hesitated. "I'll have to clear it with security, but I think it might be good for her recovery. I'll let you know." 2 more days crawled by before Lieutenant Harper escorted Noah to the medical bay. Juno lay on a biobed, her purple skin still pale but her eyes alert. She turned as Noah approached, her gaze intense. "You are the one who saved me," she said, her voice low and gravelly. Noah nodded. "I'm Noah Davis. How are you feeling?" "I am conflicted," Juno admitted. "You showed great honor in rescuing me, but my people would see it as weakness to accept help from humans." "There's no weakness in surviving," Noah countered. "You fought hard to stay alive." Juno's eyes narrowed, assessing him. "Perhaps. I thank you for my life, Noah Davis, and I apologize for my inappropriate request during the rescue. I was not in my right mind." Noah felt heat rise to his cheeks, remembering her delirious plea. "No apology necessary. I'm just glad you're recovering." Their conversation was cut short by blaring alarms. Red emergency lights bathed the room as Captain Reeves' voice came over the intercom. "All personnel to battle stations. Klingon warship approaching at high speed." Noah's eyes met Juno's, both recognizing the gravity of the situation. He turned to leave, but Juno caught his arm, her grip surprisingly strong. "Wait," she said. "I may be able to help." Noah hesitated, then nodded. He helped Juno to her feet, supporting her as they made their way to the command center. Captain Reeves looked up in surprise as they entered. "What's the situation?" Noah asked. Reeves pointed to the tactical display. "Klingon battlecruiser, heavily armed. They've traced Juno's distress signal. We're outgunned and have minutes before they're in weapons range." Noah's mind raced. "Sir, I have an idea. Let me take Juno back to my scout ship. We'll try to make contact and negotiate a peaceful handover." "Absolutely not," Reeves snapped. "It's too dangerous." "It's our best chance," Juno interjected. "My people will listen to me, and Noah's ship is small enough to approach without seeming threatening." Reeves looked between them, conflict clear on his face. Finally, he nodded. "Do it. But if this goes south, you're on your own. We can't risk open war." Noah and Juno hurried to the docking bay, adrenaline masking the pain of Juno's still healing injuries. As they boarded Noah's scout ship, their eyes met. The air between them crackled with unspoken tension, a mix of fear and something deeper, more primal. "Ready?" Noah asked, his hand hovering over the launch controls. Juno nodded, settling into the co-pilot's seat. "Let us face our destiny, Noah Davis." The docking clamps released, and Noah's ship shot into space. Ahead, the massive Klingon warship loomed, its weapons primed. Noah took a deep breath and opened a communication channel, acutely aware that the next few moments could determine the fate of 2 species, and whatever this thing was growing between him and Juno. Noah's scout ship streaked towards the Klingon warship, its massive form growing larger by the second. Juno's presence beside him was both comforting and unsettling, her stoic demeanor masking the tension that crackled between them. "That's the IKS Kang?" Juno said, her voice low. "One of our most formidable battlecruisers." Noah nodded, his mouth dry. "Let's hope they're in a talking mood." He opened a communication channel. "IKS Kang, this is Noah Davis. I request a meeting with your commander regarding the Klingon officer aboard my vessel. Seconds stretched into minutes as they waited for a response. Noah's fingers tightened on the controls, ready to take evasive action at the slightest provocation. Finally, a gruff voice cut through the silence. Human vessel, you are cleared to dock in Bay 3. Any hostile action will result in your immediate destruction. Noah exhaled slowly. Understood, IKS Kang, proceeding to Bay 3. As they maneuvered towards the docking bay, Juno turned to Noah. Whatever happens, know that I am grateful for what you've done. Noah met her gaze, seeing a mix of emotions swirling in her dark eyes. Before he could respond, they felt the clunk of the docking clamps engaging. The moment had passed. They stepped off the scout ship into a cavernous hangar bay, immediately surrounded by a squad of armed Klingon warriors. At their head stood a battle-scarred Klingon with a commanding presence. I am Commander Koth, he growled. You will explain why a Klingon officer is aboard your vessel. Juno stepped forward, her chin high. Commander, I am Juno, daughter of Qatar. This human rescued me from certain death when my ship was destroyed. Koth's eyes narrowed. A Klingon needing rescue from a human? Explain. Noah listened as Juno recounted the events, noting how she emphasized her own resilience and downplayed his role. Despite the circumstances, he admired her diplomatic skill. Koth, however, remained unconvinced. Your story reeks of deception. This human's presence here is highly suspicious. He turned to his guards. Take the human to the brig for questioning. Juno, you will report to medical for examination. Commander, that's not necessary, Juno began, but Koth cut her off with a snarl. You defend this human? Perhaps their influence has compromised you more than you realize. Noah caught Juno's eye as the guard seized him. He saw conflict there, a silent apology. Then he was being marched away, deeper into the bowels of the Klingon warship. The brig was a stark, cold place. Noah was shoved into a cell, the energy barrier humming to life behind him. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he realized he wasn't alone. Well, fresh meat, came a voice from the shadows. A man stepped forward, his beard unkempt and his clothes tattered. Marcus Holt, at your service. What brings you to this fine Klingon establishment? Noah quickly explained his situation. Marcus listened intently, shaking his head. You're in deep, my friend. These Klingons, they don't take kindly to humans meddling in their affairs. I've been here for months, accused of spying. Trust me, their interrogation techniques aren't gentle. Noah's stomach churned. There has to be a way out of here. Marcus leaned closer, lowering his voice. Maybe there is. I've had plenty of time to study this ship. If we can get past that energy barrier, I think I know a way to your scout ship. But it's risky. Before Noah could respond, heavy footsteps approached. Commander Koth appeared, flanked by guards. Human, he spat, you will tell us everything. Your military capabilities, your outpost defenses, the real reason you're here. Noah stood his ground. I've told you the truth. I'm not a spy. I acted out of compassion, nothing more. Koth's face contorted with rage. He barked an order in Klingon, and the guards seized Noah, dragging him from the cell. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Juno endured a thorough examination. The Klingon doctor frowned at his readings, his suspicion growing. There are traces of human medical procedures in your system, he growled. Explain this. Juno's mind raced. The human, he treated my injuries. It was necessary for my survival. The doctor's eyes narrowed. Or perhaps they were experimenting on you. This is most troubling. As the doctor left to report his findings, Juno made a decision. She slipped to a nearby console, her fingers flying over the controls. Using access codes she'd memorized long ago, she composed an encrypted message to Captain Reeves at the human outpost, warning of the escalating situation and requesting assistance. Just as she sent the message, alarms blared throughout the ship. Juno's heart raced. Had she been discovered? But no, the announcement that followed spoke of escaped prisoners. In that moment, Juno faced a choice that would define her future: loyalty to her people or to the man who had saved her life. Elsewhere on the ship, Noah and Marcus raced through corridors, narrowly avoiding Klingon patrols. Marcus's knowledge of the ship proved invaluable as they navigated the labyrinthine passages. "The hangar bay should be just ahead," Marcus panted as they rounded a corner. They skidded to a halt. A group of Klingon warriors blocked their path, weapons raised. Noah's hand instinctively went to his side, but he was unarmed. As the Klingons advanced, a familiar voice rang out. "Stop!" Juno pushed through the group, her eyes locking with Noah's. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. Without warning, Juno spun, striking the nearest Klingon with a vicious elbow. Noah and Marcus seized the opportunity, launching themselves into the fray. The fight was brutal and swift. Noah found himself back-to-back with Juno, her combat skills impressive even in her weakened state. Together, they fought their way towards the hangar bay, Marcus close behind. They burst into the hangar, Noah's scout ship tantalizingly close. But as they approached, the main doors slid open. Commander Koth stormed in, leading a squad of heavily armed warriors. "Traitors and spies," Koth snarled, his weapon trained on Noah. "You will not leave this ship alive." Noah, Juno, and Marcus found themselves trapped between Koth's forces and the scout ship. The situation balanced on a knife's edge. Suddenly, the ship rocked violently. A Klingon officer's voice came over the intercom. "Commander, human vessels approaching at high speed." Koth's eyes widened in surprise, then narrowed in fury. He turned his gaze to Juno, comprehension dawning. "You," he growled, "you contacted them." As Koth raised his weapon, the standoff intensified. Noah tensed, ready to act, knowing the next few moments would determine not just their fate, but potentially the future of human-Klingon relations. The hangar bay crackled with tension, all parties poised on the brink of violence. Outside, human ships closed in, their intentions unknown. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test loyalties, challenge perceptions, and possibly forge new alliances in the face of overwhelming odds. The tension in the hangar bay reached a fever pitch as Commander Koth's finger tightened on the trigger. Noah's muscles coiled, ready to spring into action, when suddenly Koth's communicator chirped urgently. After a brief exchange in guttural Klingon, Koth's expression shifted. He lowered his weapon, his face a mask of conflicted emotions. "Stand down," he ordered his warriors, who looked at him in shock. Noah blinked, caught off guard by the sudden change. Juno stepped forward, her voice low and urgent. "Commander, what's happening?" Koth's heart made. "The High Council has been informed of this situation. They fear a diplomatic incident if we harm a human who aided one of our own." His eyes narrowed. "You are free to go, for now." Noah didn't hesitate. He grabbed Juno's arm, motioning for Marcus to follow. They sprinted towards the scout ship, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As they reached the ship's hatch, Juno hesitated. Noah turned, seeing the conflict in her eyes. "Juno," he said softly, "you don't have to come." She looked back at the Klingon warriors, then to Noah. In that moment, something shifted in her gaze. Without a word, she stepped onto the ship. Noah slid into the pilot's seat, his hands flying over the controls. The engines roared to life as the hangar bay doors began to close. "Cutting it a bit close, aren't we?" Marcus quipped, strapping himself in. The scout ship shot out of the hangar, narrowly avoiding the massive doors. Behind them, alarms blared throughout the IKS Kang. "They're powering up weapons," Juno called from the sensor station. Noah pushed the engines to their limit, the ship shuddering under the strain. A burst of weapons fire streaked past their starboard side. "Koth's not taking your defection well," Noah said to Juno, his eyes fixed on the interface. Suddenly, new contacts appeared on their sensors. The human fleet had arrived, responding to Juno's earlier distress call. "We're headed straight for a firefight," Marcus warned. Noah's mind raced. He couldn't let two fleets go to war over a misunderstanding. He banked the ship hard, attempting to avoid the crossfire. A violent impact rocked the scout ship. Sparks flew from a nearby console as the lights flickered. "Direct hit to our propulsion system," Juno reported, her fingers dancing over the controls. "We're losing speed and maneuverability." The ship lurched, drifting sideways. Noah fought with the controls, trying to maintain their course. "I might be able to help," Marcus said, moving to an auxiliary panel. "I'm not just a trader. I'm actually an intelligence operative. I know a thing or two about ship systems." Noah nodded, too focused on flying to question the revelation. "Do what you can. Juno, help him out." As Marcus and Juno worked to restore power, Noah tried to hail the human fleet. Static filled the comm channel. "Comms are down," he muttered. "We're flying blind and mute." Through the view screen, Noah saw the human ships moving into attack formation. They were about to fire on both the scout ship and the pursuing Klingons. In that moment, Noah made a decision. He plotted a new course, directly between the opposing fleets. "What are you doing?" Juno asked, looking up from her work. "Creating a chance for dialogue," Noah replied, his voice tight with concentration. The damaged scout ship limped between the two armadas. Noah held his breath, praying neither side would fire. Tense seconds passed. Then, miraculously, both fleets held their fire. "It's working," Marcus said in disbelief. Noah seized the moment. He bypassed the main communication array, rigging a crude broadcast system. "This is Noah Davis," he transmitted on all frequencies. "We have a Klingon officer aboard. Request immediate ceasefire and negotiations. Repeat, request ceasefire and negotiations." The message crackled out into space. Noah waited, his heart pounding. Finally, a response came through. Captain Reeves's voice filled the cockpit. "Noah, this is Reeves. Stand by. We're opening a channel to the Klingon commander." Relief washed over Noah. He sagged in his seat, the adrenaline beginning to ebb. Juno approached, placing a hand on his shoulder. "That was impressive," she said softly. Noah looked up at her, suddenly aware of how close she was. The air between them seemed to crackle with unspoken tension. "We make a good team," he replied, his voice husky. Before either could say more, Marcus interrupted. "Hate to break up the moment, but we're being hailed. Both fleets want us to dock with Reeves's flagship for negotiations." Noah nodded, turning back to the controls. As he maneuvered the battered scout ship towards the human flagship, Juno leaned in close. "Noah," she whispered, her breath hot against his ear, "before we go out there, I need you to know something." He turned, finding her face inches from his own. Without warning, Juno pressed her lips to his. The kiss was fierce, passionate, conveying everything they hadn't said. When they broke apart, both slightly breathless, Juno's eyes were intense. "Whatever happens out there, remember this moment." Noah nodded, his legs shaking. As they prepared to disembark, he knew that the coming negotiations would shape not just interspecies relations, but his own future as well. With Juno by his side, he stepped forward to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With Juno by his side, he stepped forward to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The airlock hissed open, revealing the brightly lit interior of Captain Reeves's flagship. Noah blinked, his eyes adjusting to the stark contrast from the dim lighting of their battered scout ship. The hangar bay bustled with activity, filled with armed security personnel whose wary gazes followed their every move. Captain Reeves strode towards them, his face a complex mixture of relief and apprehension. "Noah, thank God you're all right," he said, clasping Noah's shoulder. His eyes darted to Juno and Marcus. "I see you've brought company." Noah nodded, acutely aware of the tension in the air. "Captain, this is Juno," he gestured to the Klingon woman beside him. "And Marcus, who's actually—" "An intelligence operative, yes," Reeves finished, his expression hardening slightly. "We'll discuss that later. For now, we have more pressing matters to attend to." As they followed Reeves through the corridors, Noah felt Juno's hand brush against his. He glanced at her, seeing the mix of commitment and uncertainty in her eyes. The brief contact steadied him, a reminder of the connection they'd forged. They entered a secure conference room where Commander Koth already waited, flanked by 2 Klingon guards. The Klingon leader's eyes narrowed as they fell on Juno. "Traitor," he growled in Klingon. Juno straightened, meeting his gaze unflinchingly. "I have betrayed no one, Commander. I seek only to prevent needless bloodshed." Captain Reeves cleared his throat. "Let's begin, shall we? We're here to find a peaceful resolution to this misunderstanding. Over the next hour, Noah recounted the events that led to this moment, emphasizing the humanitarian nature of his actions. Juno corroborated his story, her praise for human compassion clearly catching the Klingons off guard. Marcus, revealing his true identity, provided valuable insights that helped bridge the communication gap between the two sides. The Klingons value honor above all, he explained. Noah's actions, saving Juno at great personal risk, align with their own code of conduct. As the discussions progressed, a compromise began to take shape. Both sides agreed to establish a neutral zone along their shared border, with joint patrols to prevent future misunderstandings. However, just as it seemed they were nearing a resolution, Commander Koth smacked his head on the table. "Enough! We will agree to this neutral zone, but I demand the return of our officer. Juno's skills are critical to our military operations." The room fell silent. All eyes turned to Juno, who stood, her posture rigid. "Commander, I request asylum with the humans." Chaos erupted. Koth roared accusations of manipulation, while Captain Reeves attempted to calm the situation, his own reservations evident in his furrowed brow. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. A frantic voice came over the intercom. "Captain, Romulan warbird decloaking off our port bow." The shared threat instantly shifted the dynamics in the room. Reeves and Koth exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between them. "We'll finish this later," Reeves said grimly. "For now, we have a common enemy." As they rushed to the bridge, Noah's mind raced. The Romulans were known for their cunning and advanced technology. A direct confrontation could be disastrous. An idea struck him. "Captain," he said, "I have a plan, but it's risky." Reeves turned, eyebrow raised. "I'm listening." Noah outlined his proposal, using a shuttle equipped with a prototype cloaking device to sabotage the Romulan ship's weapon systems. It was daring, perhaps even foolhardy, but it might be their only chance. Reeves and Koth exchanged looks again, weighing the options. Finally, Reeves nodded. "Do it." "I'm going with him," Juno said, her tone brooking no argument. As they prepared for the mission, Noah and Juno found themselves alone in the shuttle bay. The imminent danger seemed to intensify every sensation. Noah turned to Juno, words failing him. She stepped closer, her eyes searching his. "Noah," she whispered, "if we don't make it back..." He pulled her close, their lips meeting in a fierce, desperate kiss. It was a moment of raw emotion, of unspoken promises and shared fears. They broke apart, both slightly breathless. "We'll make it back," Noah said, his voice low and intense. "Together." Moments later, their shuttle slipped out of the bay, cloaked and undetected. Noah's hands danced over the controls, guiding the craft with precision. Beside him, Juno's eyes were fixed on the sensor readouts, her military training proving invaluable. "There," she said, pointing to a schematic of the Romulan ship. "That's our best shot at disabling their weapons." Noah nodded, adjusting their course. The warbird loomed before them, its sleek design belying its deadly capabilities. With a series of careful maneuvers, Noah brought them alongside the massive vessel. "Now!" Juno hissed. Noah triggered the device, his heart pounding as it latched onto the Romulan hull. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a cascade of energy rippled across the warbird's surface. "It worked," Juno breathed, her eyes wide with disbelief. As they retreated, they watched the combined human and Klingon forces move in, demanding the Romulan vessel's surrender. Outgunned and outmaneuvered, the Romulans had no choice but to comply. Returning to the human flagship, Noah and Juno were met with cheers from both humans and Klingons. Their successful mission had done more to unite the two species than years of diplomacy ever could. As the adrenaline began to fade, Noah found himself on the observation deck, watching the stars. Juno joined him, their hands intertwining naturally. "What happens now?" Noah asked softly. Juno's grip tightened slightly. "I don't know, but whatever comes next, we'll face it together." They stood in silence, watching as the Klingon vessel prepared to depart. The future held many uncertainties, but in that moment, with Juno by his side, Noah felt ready to face them all. As the Klingon vessel shimmered and vanished into warp, Noah felt a peculiar mix of relief and uncertainty wash over him. The immediate crisis had passed, but the future remained shrouded in mystery. He turned to Juno, her hand still warm in his, and saw his own emotions mirrored in her eyes. "We should report to Captain Reeves," Juno said, her voice tinged with reluctance to break the moment. Noah nodded and they made their way to the bridge. The captain was deep in conversation with Marcus, but he broke off as they approached. "Ah, our intrepid heroes," Reeves said, a hint of amusement in his tone. "I hope you're ready for your next assignment." Noah raised an eyebrow. "So soon?" Reeves nodded, his expression turning serious. "We need to capitalize on this momentum. The brass wants us to lead a joint human-Klingon mission to a newly discovered planet on the edge of the neutral zone." Juno straightened, her warrior instincts kicking in. "What's the objective, sir?" "Twofold," Reeves replied. "We're to test the effectiveness of our newfound alliance and search for resources that could benefit both species. Your team will consist of an equal number of humans and Klingons." Noah glanced at Juno, seeing the challenge reflected in her eyes. They both knew the difficulties that lay ahead. Over the next few days, as they prepared for the mission, Noah and Juno found themselves drawn closer together. Their shared experiences had forged a bond that transcended their cultural differences. Yet they couldn't escape the weight of scrutiny that fell upon them as symbols of interspecies cooperation. As they boarded the exploration vessel, Noah overheard whispered conversations among the crew. Some viewed their relationship with fascination, others with thinly veiled disgust. He felt Juno tense beside him, her keen hearing picking up the murmurs as well. "Ignore them," he said softly, brushing his hand against hers. Juno nodded, her eyes sharp in commitment. "We have a mission to complete." The journey to the planet was fraught with tension. Despite their best efforts, conflicts erupted between the human and Klingon crew members at an alarming rate. Cultural misunderstandings led to heated arguments, and differing protocols nearly resulted in physical altercations. Noah found himself constantly mediating disputes, his patience wearing thin. During one particularly heated exchange over proper waste recycling procedures, he caught Juno's eye across the room. She gave him a subtle nod, and together they managed to diffuse the situation. As they approached the planet, the crew's attention shifted from their internal conflicts to the mission at hand. The world that filled their view screen was a swirling mass of blues and greens, eerily similar to Earth. "Sensors are detecting an artificial structure on the northern continent," the science officer reported. Noah leaned forward, excitement building. "Any signs of life?" "Negative, sir. The structure appears to be abandoned." As they descended through the atmosphere, Noah felt Juno's hand on his shoulder. He looked up to see a rare expression of wonder on her face. "It's beautiful," she whispered. The landing was smooth, and as the team disembarked, Noah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The abandoned outpost loomed before them, its architecture unlike anything he had ever seen. "Stay alert," Juno warned the team as they approached the entrance. "We don't know what defenses might still be active." They made their way through winding corridors, the walls covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as they passed. Noah found himself drawn to a console near what appeared to be the main chamber. "This technology, it's far beyond anything we have," he murmured, running his hand over the smooth surface. Suddenly, a holographic display flickered to life, startling the team. Before Noah could react, a shimmering force field sprang up, trapping several crew members inside. "No!" Juno shouted, rushing forward only to be stopped by the invisible barrier. Noah's mind raced as he examined the alien controls. "We need to shut this down," he said, his fingers hovering over the unfamiliar symbols. Juno joined him, her eyes scanning the interface. "There," she pointed to a pulsing glyph. "That pattern, it's similar to Klingon battle formations. It might be the key to deactivating the defense system." Noah nodded, trusting her instincts. Together they began to decipher the alien technology, their complementary skills proving crucial in navigating the outpost hazards. As they worked, Noah couldn't help but marvel at how seamlessly they functioned as a team. With a final command entered, The force field dissipated, freeing their trapped comrades. A collective sigh of relief echoed through the chamber. "Well done," Noah said, turning to Juno with a smile. She returned the smile, a rare display of emotion in front of the others. "We make a good team," she replied, echoing his words from what felt like a lifetime ago. As they continued to explore the outpost, the team made a startling discovery. Hidden deep within the facility's databanks were records of an ancient civilization that once spanned both human and Klingon space. "This can't be right," one of the Klingon scientists growled, his eyes wide as he examined the data. Noah leaned in, his heart racing. "But it is. Look at these star charts, the genetic markers. It all points to a shared ancestry." The implications of their finding hung heavy in the air. Noah could see the discomfort and uncertainty on the faces of both human and Klingon crew members. This discovery had the potential to upend everything they thought they knew about their place in the galaxy. As they prepared to transmit their findings back to their respective governments, Noah pulled Juno aside. "This changes everything," he said quietly. "How do you think your people will react?" Juno's expression was troubled. "Some will see it as an opportunity for greater understanding. Others will view it as a threat to our identity, our very way of life." Noah nodded, understanding all too well the challenges that lay ahead. As he looked into Juno's eyes, he saw not just a fellow officer or even a friend, but a partner in the truest sense. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The sound of raised voices drew their attention back to the main chamber. A heated debate had broken out among the crew, with both sides arguing over the implications of their discovery. Noah took a deep breath, squaring his shoulders, as he prepared to once again step into the role of mediator. As he moved to address the group, Juno by his side, Noah couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger adventure. The secrets of this ancient outpost and the shared history it revealed would reshape the future of human-Klingon relations in ways they could scarcely imagine. As they prepared to depart from the alien outpost, Noah couldn't shake the feeling that their discovery would have far-reaching consequences. The journey back to Earth was tense, with both humans and Klingons grappling with the implications of their shared ancestry. Noah and Juno found themselves at the center of heated debates, their relationship scrutinized more closely than ever. Upon their return, Captain Reeves called them to his office. "I won't sugarcoat it," he said, his face grim. "Your relationship has become a lightning rod for controversy. Conservative factions on both sides are pushing back hard against the alliance." Noah felt Juno stiffen beside him. "With all due respect, sir, our personal lives shouldn't be anyone's concern, but our own." Reeves sighed. "I agree, but the reality is different. You two have become symbols, whether you like it or not." Despite the growing pressure, Noah and Juno's bond only strengthened. They found solace in each other's company, their shared experiences creating a connection that transcended cultural boundaries. One evening, as they walked through the ship's arboretum, Juno turned to Noah. "My father contacted me today," she said, her voice low. "He disapproves of our relationship." Noah took her hand, feeling the tension in her grip. "I'm sorry. My parents aren't exactly thrilled either." Juno's eyes met his, fierce and determined. "It doesn't matter. We've faced worse together." Their moment was interrupted by an urgent call from Captain Reeves. "Report to the bridge immediately." On the bridge, Reeves briefed them on their new assignment. "We're sending you to Arcturus IV," he explained, pointing to a holographic display of a bustling trade hub. "It's a neutral planet, home to various species. Your mission is to negotiate for resources, crucial to both our territories, and promote the alliance." Noah raised an eyebrow. "Diplomatic mission?" Reeves nodded. "You two have proven yourselves capable of bridging cultural divides. We need that now more than ever." As they prepared for their mission, Noah and Juno immersed themselves in studying Arcturian customs and politics. They spent long hours strategizing, their complementary skills creating a formidable team. The journey to Arcturus IV was uneventful, but as soon as they entered orbit, they sensed trouble. Their shuttle was directed to land at a secondary spaceport, away from the main diplomatic center. "Something's not right," Juno muttered as they disembarked. Noah nodded, his eyes scanning the sparse crowd. "Stay alert." They made their way to their assigned quarters, only to find the door forced open. Inside, their belongings had been ransacked. "Someone's sending us a message," Noah said, examining the mess. Juno's eyes narrowed. "Let them try to intimidate us." Over the next few days, they faced a series of obstacles. Their meetings were mysteriously rescheduled, their communications were frequently jammed, and they encountered hostile looks from various factions. During a tense negotiation session, Noah noticed a delegate slipping something into another diplomat's drink. He caught Juno's eye, and with a subtle nod, they sprang into action. Noah accidentally knocked over the drink, while Juno distracted the would-be poisoner. As they left the session, Juno pulled Noah into an alcove. "This goes beyond simple resistance to our alliance," she whispered. "Someone's actively trying to sabotage us." Noah agreed. "We need to dig deeper." Their investigation led them to a seedy bar in the lower levels of the city. As they entered, the conversations around them hushed. "Well, well," a gravelly voice called out, "if it isn't the lovebirds." They turned to see a Ferengi trader leering at them. "What brings such distinguished guests to our humble establishment?" Noah stepped forward, his voice low. "Information, and we're willing to pay for it." The Ferengi's eyes gleamed. "Now you're speaking my language." Through a series of carefully worded questions and not-so-subtle bribes, they uncovered hints of Romulan involvement. Their suspicions were confirmed when they intercepted a coded transmission from the planet's surface to a cloaked ship in orbit. "We need to find the source of that transmission," Juno said, her warrior instincts kicking in. They tracked the signal to an abandoned industrial complex on the outskirts of the city. As they approached, Noah noticed faint energy readings emanating from beneath the ground. "An underground base," he whispered. Juno nodded, her hand moving to her disruptor. "Clever, but not clever enough." They found a hidden entrance and slipped inside. The facility was a maze of corridors and security checkpoints, but Noah's technical skills and Juno's combat training allowed them to navigate undetected. In the heart of the base, they discovered a command center bustling with Romulan operatives. Noah quickly accessed a computer terminal while Juno stood guard. "They're planning to frame the Klingons for an attack on the Arcturian government," Noah said, his fingers flying over the controls. "It would destroy the Alliance and throw the quadrant into chaos." Suddenly, alarms blared. "Intruder alert!" a voice boomed over the speakers. Noah and Juno shared a look. "Time to go," he said. They fought their way through waves of Romulan security, their movements synchronized as if they'd been training together for years. Noah's quick thinking and Juno's strength made them nearly unstoppable. As they neared the exit, a Romulan disruptor blast caught Noah in the shoulder. He stumbled, crying out in pain. Without hesitation, Juno scooped him up, her Klingon strength allowing her to carry him with ease. "Hold on!" she growled, her eyes filled with a mixture of rage and concern. They burst out of the facility into the harsh Arcturian sunlight, only to find themselves surrounded by a mix of human, Klingon, and Arcturian forces, all with weapons drawn. "Stand down!" Noah called out, his voice strained from pain. "We have evidence of Romulan interference." As the standoff continued, Noah and Juno exchanged a look. They knew that what happened next would shape not just their future, but the future of the entire alliance. With Juno still supporting Noah's injured form, they stepped forward together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The tension in the air was palpable as Noah and Juno faced the assembled forces, their evidence of Romulan interference hanging in the balance. Captain Reeves stepped forward, his authoritative voice cutting through the chaos. "Stand down, all of you. Commander Noah and Lieutenant Juno have uncovered crucial information that affects us all." As weapons were slowly lowered, Noah felt the adrenaline coursing through his veins begin to subside. He winced, the pain in his shoulder flaring up as the immediacy of danger passed. Juno's grip on him tightened slightly, her concern evident in the set of her jaw. "We need to get you to medical," she murmured. Noah shook his head. "Not yet. We need to brief everyone first." Over the next hour, they presented their findings to a hastily assembled council of human, Klingon, and Arcturian officials. The evidence of Romulan sabotage was irrefutable, and the implications sent shockwaves through the gathered dignitaries. As the council debated their next steps, Captain Reeves approached Noah and Juno. "You two have done exemplary work," he said, his eyes glinting with pride. "But I'm afraid your job isn't over yet." Noah raised an eyebrow, exchanging a glance with Juno. "Sir?" Reeves handed them a datapad. "You're being reassigned. There's a summit taking place that could determine the future of the Human-Klingon alliance. Given your unique perspective, you've been chosen as key delegates." Juno's eyes widened as she scanned the information. "This summit, it's unprecedented." Noah nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. "When do we leave?" "Immediately," Reeves replied. "But first, get that shoulder looked at, Noah. You'll need to be at your best for this." After a brief stop at the medical bay, Noah and Juno found themselves aboard a sleek diplomatic vessel, hurtling through space towards the summit location. As they approached their destination, a massive space station came into view, its design a striking blend of human and Klingon architectural elements. "It's beautiful," Noah murmured, taking in the graceful curves and bold angles that somehow harmonized into a cohesive whole. Juno nodded, her expression thoughtful. "A physical representation of what our alliance could be." As their ship docked, they were greeted by the sight of a mixed honor guard, humans and Klingons standing side by side in a display that would have been unthinkable mere months ago. Noah felt a swell of pride and hope as he and Juno disembarked, their hands briefly brushing as they walked down the gangway. The summit began with a flurry of activity. High-ranking officials from both species presented impassioned arguments for and against strengthening the alliance. Noah and Juno listened intently, acutely aware of the weight of history in the making. When it came time for them to testify, Noah felt a flutter of nerves in his stomach. He glanced at Juno, drawing strength from her steady presence beside him. As they took their places at the podium, a ripple of murmurs swept through the assembled delegates. Noah cleared his throat and began to speak, his voice growing stronger with each word. He recounted their experiences, the challenges they had faced and overcome together. Juno picked up where he left off, her natural confidence shining through as she detailed the benefits of cooperation they had witnessed firsthand. As they spoke, Noah became aware of the varied reactions from the audience. Some delegates nodded in approval, clearly moved by their words. Others frowned, their disapproval evident in the set of their shoulders and the narrowing of their eyes. During a recess, Noah and Juno found themselves in a quiet corner of the station's promenade. As they discussed the summit's progress, Noah's keen ears picked up a nearby conversation. He stiffened, his hand instinctively reaching for Juno's arm. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Juno nodded, her eyes scanning the area. "Romulan agents," she breathed. They exchanged a look of unbreakable spirit. Once again, they found themselves on the brink of uncovering a plot that could derail not just the summit, but the entire future of human-Klingon relations. "We need to inform Captain Reeves," Noah said, already moving towards the conference rooms. Juno fell into step beside him. "And General Couture, we'll need allies on both sides for this." As they hurried through the station's corridors, Noah couldn't help but marvel at how in sync they had become, each anticipating the other's thoughts and actions, moving as one unit towards a common goal. They found Reeves and Couture in deep discussion outside the main chamber. The two leaders looked up as Noah and Juno approached, sensing the urgency in their demeanor. "Captain, General," Noah said, his voice low, "we have a situation." As they quickly relayed what they had overheard, Noah saw the gravity of the situation settle over Reeves and Couture. The four of them huddled together, formulating a plan to expose the Romulan infiltrators without disrupting the delicate negotiations taking place. With roles assigned and a strategy in place, Noah and Juno set off to investigate further. As they made their way through the station's less traveled areas, Noah felt a familiar mix of excitement and trepidation. He glanced at Juno, seeing his own emotions mirrored in her eyes. "Just like old times," he said with a wry smile. Juno nodded, a hint of a grin tugging at her lips. "Let's hope we're as effective here as we were on Arcturus IV. As they delved deeper into the station's inner workings, neither of them could shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something monumental. The future of two great civilizations hung in the balance, and once again, they found themselves at the center of the storm. As they contemplated their next move, a figure emerged from the shadows of a nearby corridor. "Impressive work, you two," the stranger said, stepping into the light. "But I'm afraid your journey is far from finished." Noah and Juno tensed, ready for a fight, but the newcomer raised their hands in a placating gesture. "I'm not here to cause trouble," they said. "My name is Zara, and I represent an organization dedicated to interspecies harmony. We've been watching you both, and we believe you're exactly what we need for a crucial mission." Noah and Juno exchanged glances, their silent communication honed by months of working together. "What kind of mission?" Juno asked, her voice low and cautious. Zara smiled. "One that could change the course of galactic history. We've discovered a remote planet with ancient artifacts that might hold the key to uniting species across the galaxy. We need your unique skills and perspective to investigate." Noah's curiosity was piqued. "And why should we trust you?" "Because," Zara said, producing a small device, "I can offer you this." They activated the device, projecting a hologram of a star system unknown to either Noah or Juno. "This is where we're headed, a planet untouched by modern civilizations, holding secrets beyond our imagination." The promise of discovery and the potential for furthering interspecies relations proved too tempting to resist. Noah and Juno agreed to join the mission, their decision spurred by the hope of making a lasting difference in the galaxy. Within hours, they found themselves aboard a sleek stealth ship, its hull shimmering with the latest in cloaking technology. As Zara guided them through the ship's systems, Noah marveled at the advanced equipment. "This ship is incredible," he murmured, running his hand along a console. "I've never seen anything like it." Juno nodded in agreement, her warrior's eye appreciating the tactical advantages such a vessel would provide. As they settled in for the journey, Noah and Juno found themselves in close quarters, the ship's compact design forcing them into frequent proximity. The air between them crackled with unspoken tension, their physical attraction amplified by the confined space. One evening, as they stood side by side in the ship's small galley, their hands brushed. Noah felt a jolt of electricity at the contact, his breath catching in his throat. Juno's eyes met his, dark and intense. "Noah," she said, her voice husky, "we should talk about this." He nodded, aware of the heat rising in his cheeks. "I know. It's complicated, isn't it? Our positions, our species." Juno stepped closer, her presence overwhelming his senses. "Is it? Or are we making it more complicated than it needs to be?" Their lips met in a searing kiss, months of pent-up desire finally finding release. As they explored each other, they discovered the unique challenges and pleasures of their interspecies coupling, their bodies a testament to the potential for harmony between their races. Days later, as they approached their destination, Zara called them to the bridge. "We're entering orbit," she announced, gesturing to the view screen. The planet below was a swirl of emerald and sapphire, its surface largely obscured by dense cloud cover. As they descended through the atmosphere, the clouds parted to reveal a landscape dotted with the ruins of an ancient civilization. They landed near a sprawling city, its architecture unlike anything they had ever seen. Towering spires of an iridescent material stretched towards the sky, interconnected by graceful arches that seemed to defy gravity. As they stepped out of the ship, Noah felt a sense of awe wash over him. "It's beautiful," he breathed, taking in the alien yet strangely familiar surroundings. Juno nodded, her hand instinctively reaching for her weapon. "And potentially dangerous. We should proceed with caution." They made their way through the abandoned streets, their footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. As they approached what appeared to be a central plaza, a shimmering light suddenly appeared before them. A holographic figure materialized, its form ethereal and otherworldly. When it spoke, its voice resonated with ancient wisdom. "Greetings, seekers," the hologram said. "You stand in the remnants of a civilization that once united the galaxy. We left these trials to test those who might follow in our footsteps. Are you worthy of the knowledge we safeguarded? Noah, Juno, and Zara exchanged determined looks. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they were ready to face them together. The hologram gestured towards a series of doorways that had appeared around the plaza. Choose your path, it said, but know this, only through cooperation and understanding can you hope to succeed. As they approached the first doorway, Noah felt Juno's hand slip into his. He squeezed it gently, drawing strength from their connection. Whatever happens, Juno said softly, we face it together. Noah nodded, his heart swelling with affection and tenacity. As they stepped through the threshold, he knew that their greatest challenge, and perhaps their greatest triumph, lay ahead. As they stepped through the threshold, Noah felt a surge of energy course through his body. The world around them shimmered and distorted, colors blending into a kaleidoscope of light and shadow. When the disorientation passed, they found themselves standing in a vast chamber filled with pulsing, otherworldly technology. Before they could fully process their surroundings, a blinding flash erupted from the center of the room. Noah instinctively shielded his eyes, feeling Juno press closer to his side. When the light faded, they saw a glowing orb hovering before them, its surface shimmering with intricate patterns. "What is it?" Juno whispered, her voice a mix of awe and apprehension. Noah reached out tentatively, his fingers stopping just short of the orb's surface. "I think it's some kind of data repository, or maybe a—" His words were cut short as the orb suddenly expanded, enveloping them in a cocoon of pulsating energy. Noah felt a jolt of panic, but it quickly subsided as a wave of calm washed over him. Images and sensations flooded his mind. Countless worlds, diverse species, millennia of history and knowledge. Beside him, Juno gasped, "Noah, I can feel what you're feeling. I can see what you're seeing." He turned to her, eyes wide with wonder. "Me too. It's like we're connected somehow." The experience lasted only moments, but when the energy field dissipated, Noah knew they had been fundamentally changed. He could sense Juno's presence in his mind, a warm, comforting link that transcended physical touch. Zara's voice broke through their shared reverie. "We need to go. Now!" They turned to see her standing by a newly appeared doorway, her expression urgent. Without hesitation, Noah and Juno followed her, their movements perfectly synchronized. As they raced through winding corridors, the ancient structure around them began to tremble and shift. Walls rearranged themselves, opening new paths and sealing off others. Noah realized with a start that the entire complex was reacting to their presence, to the knowledge they now carried. They burst out of the ruins just as the ground began to shake violently. Their ship stood ready, its engines already humming to life. They sprinted up the gangway, Zara sealing the hatch behind them, as Noah and Juno made for the cockpit. As they lifted off, Noah caught a final glimpse of the ancient city through the view screen. The spires were collapsing in on themselves, the once majestic structures crumbling to dust. A brilliant pillar of energy shot up from the central plaza, piercing the clouds and stretching into the upper atmosphere. "What's happening?" Juno asked, her hands flying over the controls as she piloted them away from the disintegrating ruins. Zara's voice came over the intercom, tense but controlled. "The artifact has activated. It's broadcasting something across the galaxy." Noah felt a wave of vertigo wash over him. He gripped the edge of the console, steadying himself as his mind filled with a cacophony of voices and emotions. Beside him, Juno seemed to be experiencing the same sensation. "Noah," she said, her voice strained, I think we're feeling what everyone else is feeling. The entire galaxy." As they broke atmosphere and entered the inky blackness of space, the full magnitude of what had transpired began to dawn on them. The artifact hadn't just changed them. It had touched every sentient being in the galaxy, creating a moment of shared empathy on an unprecedented scale. Their ship's communications array crackled to life, a barrage of transmissions pouring in from every direction. Noah could barely make sense of the overlapping voices, but the tone was clear: confusion, fear, and a desperate need for answers. Zara burst into the cockpit, her face pale. "We're being hailed by both human and Klingon authorities. They're demanding we report to the nearest joint space station immediately. Noah exchanged a glance with Juno, feeling her apprehension mingling with his own. They had set out to foster understanding between species, but the scale of what they had unleashed was beyond anything they could have imagined. As Juno set a course for the designated space station, Noah tried to sort through the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions swirling in his mind. He could sense the fear and uncertainty radiating from countless worlds, but beneath it all, there was something else. A glimmer of hope, a newfound awareness of the fundamental connections that bound all sentient life together. The familiar starscape outside the view screen blurred as they engaged the warp drive. Noah reached out and took Juno's hand, drawing strength from her presence, both physical and mental. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, not just as a human and a Klingon, but as something entirely new. As their ship streaked through the stars, carrying them towards an uncertain reception, Noah couldn't shake the feeling that they had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. The galaxy had changed, and they had changed with it. The true test of their mission was only just beginning. As their ship approached the space station, Noah and Juno found themselves grappling with an unexpected challenge. The mental link they had experienced on the planet had not faded as they'd expected. Instead, it seemed to be growing stronger with each passing moment. Noah's thoughts tumbled through his mind, a chaotic blend of his own consciousness and Juno's. He gripped the edge of his seat, trying to focus on the approaching station. "Juno," he managed to say, his voice strained. "Are you feeling this too?" Juno nodded, her face a mask of concentration. "It's overwhelming. I can barely tell where my thoughts end and yours begin." As they docked at the station, Noah and Juno struggled to maintain their composure. The mental link between them had intensified to the point where they moved in perfect synchronization, their actions mirroring each other without conscious thought. The moment they stepped off the ship, they were met by a team of stern-faced officials from both the human and Klingon delegations. Among them was a familiar face, Dr. Elena Chen, the human scientist who had first treated Juno. "We need to run some tests immediately," Dr. Chen said, her voice tight with concern. "Whatever happened down there, it's having a significant effect on both of you." Over the next few days, Noah and Juno underwent a battery of examinations. They were poked, prodded, and scanned, all while trying to navigate the increasingly complex landscape of their shared consciousness. During one particularly grueling session, Dr. Chen's eyes widened as she studied the readouts on her screen. "This is unprecedented," she murmured. "Your physiologies are changing, adapting to accommodate the mental link. It's as if your bodies are creating a new, hybrid state." Noah and Juno exchanged glances, a mixture of fear and fascination passing between them. "What does that mean for us?" Noah asked. Dr. Chen shook her head. "I'm not sure yet, but it's clear that you're no longer purely human or Klingon. You're becoming something new." As word of their condition spread, Noah and Juno found themselves at the center of a growing controversy. Some viewed them with awe, seeing their transformation as the next step in evolution. Others regarded them with suspicion and fear, worried about the implications for their respective species. One evening, as they sat in their quarters, Noah felt a wave of anxiety wash over him. It took him a moment to realize it wasn't his own emotion, but Juno's. He turned to her, reaching out to take her hand. "We'll get through this," he said softly. "Together." Juno squeezed his hand, her eyes meeting his. "I know. It's just, I never imagined our mission would lead to this." Their moment of quiet was interrupted by a sudden commotion outside. They opened the door to find Dr. Chen, her face flushed with excitement. "We've made a breakthrough," she announced. "The artifact you activated it's not alone. It's part of a network spread across the galaxy, and we think you might be the key to activating the rest of it." The next few days were a whirlwind of briefings and preparations. The joint human-Klingon leadership had decided to launch a mission to locate and activate the remaining artifacts. Noah and Juno, with their unique bond, were the obvious choice to lead the expedition. As they prepared for the mission, Noah and Juno underwent intensive training to harness their mental link. They learned to project their thoughts with greater precision, to communicate across vast distances. It was exhausting, often painful work, but with each passing day they grew stronger, more in tune with each other and their new abilities. The day of the launch arrived all too quickly. As Noah and Juno boarded the specially designed ship, they felt the weight of expectation pressing down on them. The crew, a carefully selected mix of humans and Klingons, watched them with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. As the ship lifted off, leaving the space station behind, Noah felt a surge of tenacity. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew that he and Juno would face them together. Their bond, once a source of confusion and fear, had become their greatest strength. The ship's sensors hummed to life, searching for the telltale energy signatures of the ancient artifacts. As they set course for the first potential location, Noah and Juno stood side by side on the bridge, their hands clasped tightly together. The vastness of space stretched out before them, filled with unknown dangers and untold possibilities. But as Noah looked at Juno, feeling the steady pulse of her thoughts intertwined with his own, he knew that they were ready for whatever the galaxy might throw at them. The ship accelerated, streaking across the stars towards their first destination. The mission to unite the galaxy had begun, and Noah and Juno were at its heart, their shared consciousness a beacon of hope in the darkness of space. Space. The ship's engines thrummed with power as they pushed deeper into uncharted territory, following the faint energy signatures that beckoned them forward. Noah and Juno stood side by side on the bridge, their hands clasped tightly together. Through their mental link, they could sense the mix of excitement and apprehension coursing through the crew. The weight of their mission pressed down on them, but they drew strength from each other's presence. As they approached the coordinates of the next artifact, alarms suddenly blared across the ship. The tactical officer's voice cut through the chaos. "Multiple vessels detected. They're on an intercept course." Noah felt Juno's grip tighten. He turned to her, seeing his own concern mirrored in her eyes. "We need to get to the artifact before they do," he said, his voice low and urgent. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a swarm of alien ships closing in on their position. Their designs were unlike anything they had encountered before. Sleek, organic shapes that seemed to pulse with an inner light. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer announced. A harsh, guttural voice filled the bridge. "Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." Noah and Juno exchanged a quick glance, their thoughts intertwining. They couldn't afford to be delayed, not when they were so close to their goal. Noah stepped forward, addressing the alien fleet. "We come in peace," he said, his voice steady. "We're on a mission of vital importance to the entire galaxy. Please, allow us to explain." The response was immediate and decisive. "Your explanations are irrelevant. You will comply or be destroyed." Juno's voice rang out, clear and authoritative. "All hands, battle stations, we need to reach that artifact." The ship lurched into action, engines roaring as they pushed forward. The alien vessels gave chase, energy weapons lashing out and scraping against their shields. As the crew worked frantically to keep the ship intact, Noah and Juno hurried to the specially designed amplification chamber at the heart of the vessel. Engineers and scientists swarmed around them, making last-minute adjustments to the equipment. Dr. Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. "We've only got one shot at this. The artifact's energy signature is growing stronger. We must be right on top of it." Noah and Juno took their positions at the center of the chamber, surrounded by a web of pulsing conduits and glowing crystals. They joined hands, their eyes locking in a moment of silent communication. As the artifact began to power up, their mental link intensified beyond anything they had experienced before. Energy surged through their bodies, and a blinding light engulfed the chamber. Noah felt as if he were being torn apart and remade, atom by atom. Beside him, Juno gasped, her grip on his hand tightening to the point of pain. The ship shuddered around them as the alien vessels entered weapons range. Through their link, Noah and Juno could sense the desperation of their crew, working against time to complete the modifications. With seconds to spare, the amplification chamber hummed to life. Noah and Juno's shared consciousness expanded outward, carried on a wave of energy that erupted from the ship. The empathic broadcast washed over the assembled alien fleet, penetrating shields and hulls as if they were nothing. For a breathtaking moment, all hostilities ceased. Every being within range was overcome by the shared emotions and memories of Noah and Juno. The broadcast penetrated deeper than before, not only conveying emotions, but also unlocking a latent potential within certain individuals across the various species. Noah and Juno found themselves at the center of a vast interstellar network of minds. Through this connection, ancient knowledge long hidden within the artifact network began to unlock. The assembled races learned of their shared ancestral heritage and the true purpose of the artifacts, to unite the galaxy's diverse species in harmony and unlock their collective potential. The revelation sent shockwaves through the fleet, weapons powered down and communication channels opened between ships. Former enemies began to engage in peaceful dialogue, finding common ground in their shared experience. As the immediate crisis subsided, Noah and Juno faced a monumental decision. The artifact offered them a choice: to remain as they were, serving as the focal point of the new interstellar network, or to relinquish their enhanced abilities and return to their former selves. In the silence of their shared consciousness, Noah and Juno made their choice. They would maintain their connection to the network, accepting the responsibility of guiding this new era of galactic cooperation. However, they also chose to retain their individual identities, finding a balance between their shared consciousness and their unique personalities. The artifact responded to their decision, stabilizing their condition and granting them full control over their abilities. As Noah and Juno emerged from the chamber, their bodies radiated with a subtle, otherworldly energy. On the bridge, the crew watched in awe as the alien vessels formed a protective circle around their ship. The hostile voices that had threatened them earlier now spoke words of peace and unity. Noah turned to Juno, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "I think," he said softly, "we might need a bigger conference room."
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.